Super fun! What is up, my fellow adventurers? This weekend we're heading out into the wildlands again, 2 weekends in a row. But we're doing a canoe trip. First paddling trip since I screwed up my arm, tore my bicep. So hopefully my arm holds up for us. We're going to try and make it to my favorite lake in the entire park, which is Clear Lake. We might also try and dip over and check out a couple of the little tiny lakes that I've just never bothered with. See if there's anything interesting on them. I think there's a campsite or two on them. I know this route is a little hard, to say the least. A lot of portages, just short ones, nothing too crazy except for the 1K from Red Boat Lake to Clear Lake. Hopefully we'll get her done because we only got 2 nights in here, but we're getting an early start on Friday, so I think it should be doable as long as my arm holds up. Anyways, let's get out there. Made it to the mouth of the Head River. Didn't do too much filming coming over because Nona was a little bit unsettled in the canoe, and Head Lake always makes me nervous to begin with because it's a pretty big lake to cross and it's kind of dangerous this time of year. Safety first. Always wear a life jacket, kids. Slow down. The first portage is unmarked but exists to the left of the rapids you'll find on the Head River heading up towards Fishog. The land is privately owned, so please be respectful. The owner's actually quite nice. I've met him a couple times over the years, and even gave him a couple beers one time when he forgot to grab some heading up to his cottage. Once back on the river, you'll soon be greeted by a sign letting you know you've entered the park. Welcome to the wildlands. There's a small channel on the south end of the island on Fishog that lets you pass through if you don't want to paddle around the whole island. Decided to stop here since it's one of my favorite sites on the lake, and it's available. Got a beautiful clifftop view. Can't beat the view, that's for sure. It's going to turn into more of a hiking trip after this because the portages get pretty close together. Not that they're super long, but they're a bit rugged and not the most fun, but it's worth it to get to Clear Lake because it's, like I said, a beautiful lake. So we're going to grab a quick bite and get back to her. It's interesting how things change over the years. This beaver dam was not here last time. Should make paddling through this section a little bit easier. This is one of my least favorite portages in the entire park. Freaking 45-degree slope of rock boulders to start. It's not so bad after that, but unfortunately we've already scouted the other end of the portage and it's still dried up. Just like it was 3 years ago. Beaver dams have not been working very hard. Slackers. Slight detour. Super fun. Are you gonna help me carry the canoe, Nona? Whew. Just take a little break in the middle of the portage. Yeah, this portage is much worse now that we gotta go around the swamp. The chain of ponds between Fishog and Red Boat Lake will have you getting in and out of the boat constantly. So look forward to that. Oh nah, what's your head? What's your head? Can you move your head? Nope, apparently not.
Danger boat, Nona. A danger boat.
Just rolled up on the portage to Clear Lake. It's not a portage I usually look forward to. Sign says 718, but I'm pretty sure my map says 950 or something like that. I'm gonna guess it's closer to 950, but who knows? Maybe they actually measured it. This portage goes over a big rock top and can be a little bit confusing at times. You got to follow cairns usually because there's usually not much of a trail except for maybe some old four-wheeler ruts that you see in spots to follow. And also there's another one that goes over to a lake called Coburn, I believe, which makes it sometimes confusing. I actually had somebody on a trip once take that way and walk all the way to Coburn instead of going the right way because he was separated from the group. And that was fun, had to find him.
Portaging with my two favorite allies. Fully loaded, we got snacks and supplies. Let's go canoe, let's go canoe. Nona's gotta jump in every single bog.
It's getting a little warm out now. Down to a t-shirt. The last portage had me sweating. Super happy to be back on this lake. Kind of feels surreal since I haven't been here in 4 years, and it's one of my favorite lakes. This is one of the first lakes I ever came back to on a backcountry trip. Me and my buddy took a route up Digby Creek, which was not the right choice. Just do the big portage from Red Boat to Clear. Trust me, it's a lot easier, especially if you're trying to do it in the middle of the summer. That Digby Creek route is not something I would advise for anyone. But it was an experience. We ended up getting stranded on Cranberry Lake and just camped there for the night because at that point it was almost dark and we knew we still had a ways to go and another portage or two, I think just one, until we hit Clear Lake. So we were pretty happy to just stop and call it a day on Cranberry and then get to Clear Lake early in the morning the next day. But yeah, it's a bit of a slog to get back in this lake, but it's friggin' worth it. This lake is amazing. Scrabble's amazing too. We might do a day trip up to Scrabble tomorrow. We haven't really decided yet, but there's a couple other lakes we might check out just to the east of Clear Lake that I've actually never been on, just because they're such tiny little lakes that just never made the trip over there. I'm always happy to just tour around Clear and get some time in on this lake when I can. Morning, we woke up to a completely different weather forecast than we had last night when we went to bed. We were supposed to only get like 1 millimeter of rain over an hour or so, and yeah, it's changed to 15 millimeters. There's 1 hour in there that's saying almost 10 millimeters of rain, so we decided to batten down the hatches in camp and flip the canoes over, get all ready, because we might get a good blast of rain this morning. Kind of changed our plans. We were going to kind of scoot around, do a day trip up to one of the other lakes, and then maybe come back to camp and pack up and start working our way out. But yeah, it looks like that's not in the cards for us, since we might get a huge blast of rain in the next hour or so. We just found a nice place to chill out of the wind, and feels like a completely different day over here than it did at our site. Anyways, enjoy it while it lasts, because the rain's coming. What do you do when you're stranded in the tent for a few hours because of rain? You filmed your own episode of MTV Cribs. So welcome to my crib. The tent's a Mech Spark 2, I believe. Picked it up a couple of years ago. Pretty pimp. Got some nice pockets to throw your phone in. One on each side of the tent. Oh, this is my dog Nona. Say hi, Nona. Got a nice dangly thing that comes from the ceiling. Sometimes I like to throw my headlamp on it so I can see at night. This is the closet. It's where I keep all my stuff. Yeah, see those shoes? Got literally 2 pairs of shoes in here. That's crazy. It's also where I keep my water bottle. Yeah, so I can get up my water during the night because I get thirsty. Nona's going crazy. She does not like being cooped up in the tent during rainstorms. As you can see, it's very spacious in here. Woo! And this is where the magic happens. Got my Mech brand sleeping pad. Reactor 3.8. It's where I like to get cozy at night and, you know, do fun stuff. Also got 2 sleeping bags. Have you ever heard of anybody ever having 2 sleeping bags? Ooh, luxurious. super luxurious. My crib isn't the biggest crib, but you know, it keeps me dry. So, the rainstorm has actually turned out to be an ice pellet storm. And that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't in the radar at all. Just looked like rain coming in, but you know, makes for a good adventure. You can see it's actually accumulating outside the tent, which is kind of surprising. I didn't think it would accumulate because it's not super cold, but it's not melting too fast. And sounds like it's going to last a little bit longer than was originally forecasted. We might be stuck in the tent for another few hours. I did a brief trip outside just to look around, and yeah, it's not very pleasant out there. Nona, can you go get me a stick? Got a stick? That one? That one? It's good for the fire? Okay. Okay, Nona. Next stick.
Go get a stick.
Go get me a stick. Good girl. Good girl. Hey, give me that stick.
I'll cut onto your game, then.
Nona, give me the stick.
Good girl. That's so nice.
Okay, next stick. Next stick, Nona. Good girl. Good girl. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Give. All right, you got a little chunk of this stick. Free room and board, so you bring me sticks, right? I feed you. Beauty morning today. A lot nicer than yesterday. Well, packed up pretty early this morning, trying to make a quick getaway. Wind's getting worse over the day, and of course we have headwinds all the way out probably. So yeah, we want to try and get out as early as we can to avoid the headwinds on Head Lake, because it's never fun. I think I've said in previous videos that's why Head Lake is called Head Lake, because you always have headwinds. Don't ask me how it's possible, but it's just the way it is. Not fun. The journey out is not something you look forward to, but it always seems to be easier than the trip in. Probably because your food barrel's a little bit lighter. God, I hate that portage. On the way over, I started thinking about how portaging a canoe is kind of just a meditative state to me. You just shut your brain off, you think about where your foot's going next, things to watch for, slippery spots and such, and the pain just fades away, and you just end up at the other end of the portage before you even know it. Greeted with a beautiful view like this. Okay, in the boat. Good girl. By this point, Nona was starting to remember good canoe etiquette, and it made the trip out a lot easier than it was going in. Huge otter. That was one of the biggest ones I've ever seen. Well, we made it across Head Lake alive. Just barely though. It turned a little windy in the middle of the lake and got a little sketchy. I've done it worse, but yeah, Head Lake's never a good time. I wish I could just teleport across. Anyways, get out there for some adventures of your own. They're waiting for you.